Welcome to the Ditch the Struggle podcast. I'm your host, Alana Rosso. I'm a graphic designer turned career and success coach who knew I could do better, but kept falling short of where I wanted to go. But after years of exploring personal and career development, business, money mindset, and energy work, I'm here to tell you that yes, you can move from stuck and defeated to empowered and confident. Ready to dive in? Awesome. Together, let's ditch the struggle. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm going to talk about teapots, hydration, and Marie Kondo, and how she can just sit down. She can sit down. I am not great at drinking water, and a while back, like maybe a year ago, I really realized that I have to up the water game, not because everyone on social media is telling me to, but I would wake up some days literally feeling hungover, having not had a drop of anything to drink. And I just kind of like water, but I'm not one of those people that drags around the fish tank with them or like the water cooler. Like I can't even look at those. It's just like ridiculous. I have my small glass LO tumbler that I love, but I knew I wasn't so great at drinking enough water. So then I had the idea of drinking more herbal tea. I do I'm a tea person. I'm drinking tea all the time, black tea in the morning and herbal tea later, but I was like, I'm going to up my herbal tea game. And this is a really easy way to get more water in. And we're not getting it in just because everyone on Instagram tells us to. It's just important to stay hydrated. It's interesting though. I remember I read years ago an article, so I can't really remember exactly what it said, but we do get water from all the other things that we intake in a day. So it's not just the gallon of water from the tumbler or fish tank that we're getting hydrated. But bottom line, I knew I wasn't getting enough in. So I was like, I'm going to up my herbal tea game. That's how I'm going to do it. Because I do really like drinking like hot beverages. So then I was like, okay, so maybe I just need to go and get like a big teapot because I don't have one that's big enough that to like really get the hydration in. Like I just have smaller ones. And then I realized, no, I do have a big teapot. And I have been over the last few years as I'm becoming like more and more conscious of how I spend and purchase things, really trying to look around the house before I go out and buy something. Like, do I really need to get this thing? Even if it's something from the dollar store, I ask myself, like, maybe I have this lying around. And so about a year ago, when I was realizing that I'm dehydrated a lot of the time, I was like, I think I do have a teapot. So this is where you start digging deep and you literally go through the cupboards. And I had this teapot. And it's interesting because I was going to throw this teapot out. Now, when I measured it, it holds 1.75 liters. So that's like 7 cups of liquid. I was like, this is perfect. But I did almost throw this thing out years ago. So this was a teapot I got from my mom. My mom and I had very different tastes in things. She was someone who liked very old-fashioned things, watercolor paintings, traditional. And I don't know if anyone remembers the Hallmark stores. They may still exist in the States, but in Canada, they left years ago. But the Hallmark stores were everywhere, and she was one of their best customers. Okay, so she was a Hallmark shopper, and she would buy like all these random things that were not my style, and she would give them to me. And she did love tea. Now, I love tea. I'm half British. It's like in my DNA, right? I gotta drink the tea. She would buy me all these things and teapots. Like one of the teapots from Hallmark, no word of a lie, looked like a watering can. So it's like the spout was like the watering can spout with the like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the wide spout, like a traditional one, like something like Holly Hobby would use, which I don't know how many of my listeners are going to understand who Holly Hobby is, but it was so old-fashioned, and I used to use this when I worked at Harlequin. And one day the cleaning lady, she broke it by accident. Like she used to hand wash it for me every evening. She was so sweet. And she broke it, and she was almost in tears. She felt so bad. And I was like, it's okay. It's like was not my fave. I used it at work because I didn't want it at home. Okay, so have a history with these teapots. And then I remembered I had this teapot that my mom had given me that I almost threw out because it has oak leaves all over it, which now that I'm really into trees, I'm appreciating it more, which is part of the story. but I almost threw it out because I just didn't like it at the time. And if we go to Marie Kondo, if anyone's read her book and done the Netflix things, it's like this whole concept is of if it doesn't spark joy, then get rid of it, right? And I think if you haven't used something in a year, then you're supposed to get rid of it. Now, I've had this teapot for, 14 or so years. At the time I was moving and considering keeping it or getting rid of it, I was really leaning towards getting rid of it. And my friend was like, no, it might be good for when you have guests and you need to have like more tea to serve. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I just like shoved it into the back of the cupboard. I have maybe used it twice in the years, like the 14, 15 years that I've had it. And I didn't really enjoy using it because, again, it wasn't really my style. I didn't really like the way it looked and just felt so much like it was like my mom's teapot. And we had a very tumultuous relationship. So there was a part of me that just did not want a reminder of her. But now it's been a while since she's passed away in 2021. And I'm much more at peace with how things went and our relationship. And there is something now totally endearing about this teapot, and I enjoy using it, which, going back to Marie Kondo, at the time it did not spark joy for a long time. And now I have really come to enjoy using this teapot, and it's kind of nice that it reminds me of her. So what can spark joy, like if something doesn't spark joy one day, it can certainly spark joy the next day, potentially. And so I think it's a little bit black and white to be like, just get rid of it. It's never going to be meaningful. It's never going to give you that joy. I just don't really agree with that because I'll tell you, this teapot did not spark joy. And now it's like, maybe not sparking joy, but it's like very pleasant. And so I've talked about this in another episode, but Marie Kondo has steered me wrong. And I think we need extreme people like that to be like, just get rid of everything and start over, or just go down to like minimalist living. But I have come to just really curate and be really thoughtful and intentional. And now I actually take time before I throw something out. I don't just chuck something because Declan kept making jokes about when something was missing that I basically tossed it. And I was like, okay, I don't do that anymore. I've calmed down. I've talked about this before. I've calmed down. I'm not having a knee-jerk reaction. I'm thinking things through. Okay, so not on the same page as Marie Kondo. And if you want to keep your ugly teapot for 14 or 15 years in the back of your cupboard, I'm giving you permission to do so because I did it. And then I pulled my teapot out. And actually, there's quite a few things that I never used for a few years. And then I was like, I think I have this thing. And I go rooting around for it and I pull it out and I actually do use it. Just the main thing for me is like to really stop before I go purchase anything, think through. Have I had anything like that? Like, do I remember seeing something like that in the house, right? Okay, so back to the actual using the teapot. I fished this teapot out, realized that it was going to house a lot of tea, and I was like, this is amazing. So I got in the habit of making this huge pot of herbal tea to like drink throughout the day. And guess what? Shocking. I started feeling so much better. I was waking up feeling better, just overall felt good. And then what happens? What do? We as humans, what do we do when something's working for us and making us feel better? We like stop doing it. So after a while, I was like, I don't feel like making tea. I'm going to skip a day and I'm just going to like not do it. Oh my God. And then one day you wake up and you're a prune and you like are shriveled into like half your size because you're completely dehydrated. Oh my God. So this is what happened to me again. So then I get to this full circle moment. I was like, I'm feeling really crappy, clearly not drinking enough. And I've been doing quite a bit of energy work lately. So if you do anything like a Reiki, even a massage, anything where you're moving energy through your body, you do need water. And the practitioner will say that to you. They'll say, like, if you've even just had a massage, they'll be like, okay, make sure you drink lots of water. And you're going to do what I do. You smile, you nod, you maybe take like a sip of water that they give you from the little paper cup, and then you don't drink any more water. So I was paying the price for that. I was just feeling so gross. And so then I was like, I'm back on the teapot. Got to get back on the teapot. And it was so fun, the timing, because I got back onto the teapot and my friend sends me a little thank you gift in the mail. And what was it? It was a whole assortment of like teas and a whole bunch of herbal teas. So I was just thrilled. And so feeling better and decided to commit to it. Now, I'll probably stop doing it for a while or I won't be as great about it. But I do think it's so interesting that we do things that are great for us and we see the benefit and we feel the benefit and then we stop doing them because we're just like so stupid, right? We're just like, yeah, I'm good now. I don't need to do this. Now, I am not one of these people who's obsessed about tracking water intake, any kind of intake. Like my friend uses an app called Waterlogged. I have no interest in using an app. I want to use as few apps as possible in my life. I want to be on my phone as little as possible. I'm already on there a ton for all the dogs and animals that I follow on Instagram. I don't want to be there like logging my water. I'm actually not interested in data for the most part. Like I like to have a little bit to start with as like a jumping off point, but I don't want to monitor anything. Like the idea of wearing an Oura ring is my nightmare. A Fitbit, nightmare. Apple Watch, nightmare. Like I don't want any of that stuff. I want to really tap into my intuition, what I need, and follow that. And I mean, I really didn't need my intuition to tell me that I was dehydrated. I was clearly not feeling good and just like I could physically feel it. But I just want to go with, this is a teapot. This is holding a decent amount of water and I'm just going to drink this. So I kind of have a sense of how much I'm drinking a day, but I'm not obsessing over it. I just really think we need to go back to just like tapping into what our body needs and considering, and I can even now look at something and have a sense, like some kind of food item and have a sense of whether my body wants it or not. Because I just really think things through and sit with myself and think. And that's also a byproduct of if you're a regular meditator, that your intuition kicks in. Okay, so I'm on the teapot. I'm back on it. I'm feeling so much better. And I have also recognized that I am allowed to keep things that I'm not sure if I want to keep, but I'm going to hang on to it a little while longer just to see, especially something that doesn't take up a lot of space. And I'm going to let go of that voice in my head that comes from Netflix or comes from social media, whatever it is, or comes from Marie Kondo that tells us we have to ditch everything. I don't think that's necessarily true. And it is so fascinating to me to see how something like a physical item that was once kind of not loved and not liked and almost spiked some frustration in me can now change. And my lens is so different in how I see my relationship with my mom that I now kind of love the teapot now. And I'm going to put a picture of it on Instagram when this episode comes out so you can see it. It's like got hand-painted oak leaves all over it. And I have become like totally obsessed with trees, especially in like the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm so grateful that I kept this teapot. And I know it's kind of crazy to do a whole episode on a podcast about a teapot, but I am telling you to hydrate. And I am telling you to be conscious how you're, shopping and accumulating things, and also conscious of how you're keeping things. And it's okay to be a little bit sentimental and hang on to things. And you don't have to be as extreme as Marie Kondo, unless you want to be. I can appreciate that. And I know my default is when I'm overwhelmed and stressed, I just start purging stuff and opening up a cupboard and deciding to get rid of everything. But I am being more thoughtful, less of that knee-jerk reaction. And the benefit of that, of being more conscientious of how I'm doing things, is that my nervous system is calmer and I'm appreciating the progress that I make. I'm appreciating the decisions and the commitments I'm doing. So I'm like really happy and proud of myself for sticking to the teapot again and getting back on that train. As I'm recording this, I'm drinking some valerian tea just to kind of wind down for the evening. But yeah, that's my little tip also for staying hydrated, that if you don't want to do the whole water thing, I don't do any of those electrolyte drinks. I just don't like them. Just get some peppermint tea or chamomile tea, or find these really fancy ones. I love David's tea. Go get one of those crazy ones that tastes like a watermelon Tropicana drink and drink that. And remember that we have to stick to the things that actually make us feel better, because in the long run, we're going to reap the benefits of that. And it's a long game, guys. We got to keep doing the small things every day to help ourselves feel better. Take care. Thank you for joining me today on Ditch the Struggle. You showing up here means so, so much to me. To dig deeper into the topics discussed today and to learn about my work, visit alanarosa.com. And don't forget to download your free resources while you're there. And if this episode resonated with you, please share with others who also want to ditch the struggle. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, leave a rating and a review, and let me know what you'd like to see more of on this podcast. And before I go, I want to leave you with my 3 favorite ways to ditch the struggle. Be your own best advocate, take baby steps for the win, and forget about a linear career path. It's overrated and you are doing just fine. See you next time.